In a post-Brexit Britain, we can prosper. In order to prosper, we need our true friends. Those countries of the Commonwealth and the Anglosphere who have been with us throughout the greater part of our recent history and on whom we turned our backs to join a now failing political project called the European Union. One shining example of a nation that would support Britain in rejoining the rest of the world after her release from the EU prison is the United States of America. President Trump has a long-standing relationship with Britain and with Nigel Farage, investing immense amounts of money in our nation and particularly developing golf courses in Scotland. Half Scottish himself, his mother comes from Skye, President Trump is perhaps one of the most pro-British and anti-EU presidents of our time. For the British, that is a good thing. He shares more in common with our nation and its people than our own Prime Minister seems to. With this in mind, it shocks me to discover that this week in the Budget Committee, the European Commission put forward a proposal to allow the European Investment Bank, or EIB, to lend money to Iran, of all people, Iran. They stated that it is their intention that the lending will commence on the 6th of August 2018. It is no coincidence, then, that the 6th of August 2018 also happens to be the very same date that the USA's sanction on Iran will begin to apply. So it is clear that this is nothing more than political maneuvers. It is designed deliberately to undermine the United States and reduce the effectiveness of the USA's sanctions against them. There is no doubt in my mind that this is not about helping poor Iran or doing the right thing. This is dangerous political posturing and demonstrates that the European Commission are so anti-American and so extreme that they are willing to support nations like Iran if it means undermining the United States. Why is this so important to the United Kingdom? Well, because these proposals received unanimous support from the Council of Ministers. The Council of Ministers includes Theresa May, our Prime Minister. Yes, our Prime Minister. At a time when we need our friends and allies most, she is siding with our EU enemies against those very friends and allies. These proposals will allow Iran to receive support from the EU, most probably via London, and will work actively against the interests of the UK. Perhaps Mrs May is doing this because she's too weak to negotiate a real deal and has therefore been told if she treacherously allows London to be used to this effect, the EU might be nice to us post-Brexit. In any case, it demonstrates not only the lack of political acumen that this government and that this Prime Minister possess, but it is also the treacherous mindset and a clearer perspective of where their loyalties lie. I can say with confidence that the British people do not want our nation used as a means of undermining our closest allies. And once again, the Prime Minister has acted against our nation's interests through either fear or stupidity. It is made even more worrying by the fact that Mrs May effectively accepts a withdrawal agreement that would grant EIB bankers immunity from prosecution. Immunity from prosecution. Strange timing, I'm sure you can agree. It is almost as if our own Prime Minister is sinisterly conspiring against our allies, collaborating with those who are actually against us. Given how unclear the motivations are, I decided to write a letter to the Prime Minister. It contains several very important questions. These include the following. 1. Is it true that you gave your support to these plans and to the vote in the Council of Ministers? 2. What, if any, control will the UK have over directors of the EIB doing business in or from the UK after the end of March 2019? 3. If necessary, in order to enforce its sanctions, will the USA be able to extradite directors of the EIB from the UK after the end of March 2019? Why is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom lending her support to an organisation which demands we pay it money which is not legally due, whilst at the same time alienating one of our closest allies that in contrast is showing nothing but support for the United Kingdom? 5. What, if any, concessions have you received from the EU in return for granting immunity from prosecution to European Investment Bank bankers in London? Will, for example, UK bankers have immunity from EU laws? I published a letter that I sent to our Prime Minister on my Twitter and Facebook. As soon as I receive a reply, if I receive one at all, that too will be published, followed by further videos to inform you of any developments. We cannot allow the Prime Minister to shackle us to European institutions that want to see Britain on its knees. The public require answers, and I will demand them.